Hello there. So today we are going to be picking up the spicy Scoville Dragon Boy from the Spicy Runner event. But just very quickly before we go and do that, I did just want to quickly confirm what is possible to be obtained in this event completely free to play without actually gemming any of these quests. Like, you can gem again to give yourself more currency and things like that. But without doing any of that, it is actually possible to get at least up to this XL Banquet box, which you'll see I've still got 42 currency here. We've got another 7 coming through on the breed quest, and there's still a day to go with this event. So getting up to this XL Banquet box after the main Dragon reward is definitely doable free to play. Of course, you might end up getting up to the New Year's Bell as well. It's typically the orbs that are sometimes out of reach, but, you know, it depends on how well you do in the runs. And, you know, past that, the black chest is usually unobtainable. So it's roughly around this area that most people would end up finding themselves hitting free to play if they hit all the quests, and also if they take on the path, the runner event paths in this event, which this time we had Sky King available, which had all of the runner tokens available on the blue path. And so this is a really important part of the runner events as well, because in the maze events you can get the bonus currency from here. That's how you can guarantee that you do really well in these runner events. Even if you had an average pinwheel per run of less than 100, you could probably still get Scoville, even if you end up going by that blue path in the maze, just because of the extra currency. So I guess we'll go and unlock Scoville now. And, you know, I do get a lot of people still asking, like, how do you actually get up to 120 pinwheels per run? Because, like, some people really struggle, and it's usually just because they play on mobile. Which, at the same time, as I've gotten more experience with mobile, it has become a lot easier to get 120 or, like, 118 to 120 pinwheels. Because if you didn't know, 120, I believe, is the max that you can get for a run. So going beyond that is basically just to have fun and do whatever the heck you want, like going for a high score, but you can only get up to 120 pinwheels. So you're not going to be getting an extra, you know, extra good stuff out of the event just because you like get a 60,000 run score. Like, that's not how this event works. But you do realistically need to be hitting at least 100 pinwheels per run. And you can see that was super easy. I did end up missing 2 pinwheels, and the reason why I missed them in this run is because it was a little bit dangerous. And rather than going for dangerous pinwheels, it's normally better just to guarantee that you get as close to 120 as possible. So that means not dying very early and prematurely. I know that a lot of people tend to struggle around this pattern here, because this is when it starts to get a little bit more advanced, but I don't know, after playing this event so much, it's very simple. It's the patterns after 120 pinwheels that are usually the hardest to deal with. But you can see you don't really have to do anything crazy up until this point. Like, you can just jump over each of the rocks, not an issue, and then you can just die at this point because that is all of the available pinwheels. And that is pretty much how I do every single run in this game. Almost every run will end up like that, unless you're really, really distracted. Then it's easy to miss. But either way, there is a beautiful Scoville Chilli boy claimed. And we probably won't be using him for anything. Maybe one day we'll use him in rescues. But, you know, he's just there as a nice little collection dragon. Got a weird sort of pattern on his underbelly, which is kind of strange, but, you know, he's basically a living, breathing dragon Chilli. I do love the little followers that they get as well, although I don't really know what that one is. Looks like a bell of some kind. Very strange. But, like, next up we've got plus 20 gems, which is nice. Event currency, well, an event item which I don't really care too much about. Mainly this banquet box that I want. And you can see that this is at 4,700, so as long as we get 100 from this run, which I almost certainly will, we'll get that gems unlocked, and then we'll keep going. Maybe we'll get up to the Scovillian orbs, or maybe even the second banquet box. But, you know, there is a lot that you can get out of these runner events. Like, that's, what, 5 different dragons out of one singular event, and then lots of gems and extra stuff on top. Out of all of the events in this game, I do recommend getting good at the runner events in particular, because again, they may be a little bit time consuming at first, but definitely worth it for all of the rewards, like free gems and a free 3.8 million food. Hell yes. Anyway, on top of that, we've also got a cool dragon to get hatching today, because this is Mr. Redemption Malice, who we did unlock by doing 2 sets of rescues recently. I don't believe he's available anymore. The only real problem with this dragon is that his primary element is shadow, which is a bit it could have been better. I guess we're going to have to throw him into the nursery for now, because we don't have any other space. But here is our beautiful Redemption boy. I do like the fact that these VIP only dragons or pay only dragons are coming out in more free-to-play ways every so often, so I am not going to complain at all. And of course, this dragon does have a skill, which, you know, he does have the same skill as the rest of the Redemption dragons. But I guess we can take him into a fight, I suppose. I wonder if we've got a fight available in the maze, because currently I am on track to unlock this guy over here. 21 minutes, you know what, I'll spend 1 gem just to do this fight with our Redemption boy, just to look at him. We may die, but it's fine. There he is, Bink. And we can enhance him, of course, as well, but, you know, he's a cool looking dragon. I like him, I like the look of him, we just won't be able to use him, really. So we are going against this dragon. I wonder if we're going to get demolished. Let's see. I think we're gonna die. It's fine though. I at least wanted to see him just in a quick fight, just to see what he looks like. Oh my god, we survived with 200. There we go. Our new Redemption boy gets 1 singular fight done. Of course, I wouldn't ever recommend gemming these fights usually, but it was 1 gem, and I got like 2 seconds of entertainment, so yippee! That is a fun DC gaming time for me. But yeah, do we have an actual shadow habitat to throw him into? Because his adult form's pretty cool. How about we throw the acoustic back in here and then we pop him back? Oh, there was a habitat over here as well. Okay, fair enough. There he is in all of his fandangled glory. He does only have a baby and adult skin, but, you know, he's got a cool looking helmet and a big ass sword. So, yeah, there we go. Cool dragon. Maybe we'll use him one day. But, you know, on top of that, we do also have some maze currency available in the ads as well, which is going to be useful. But, you know, I'm pretty much fine with only getting up to the brown key stuff, because that was the final key dragon apart from... who was it? This guy that I didn't have yet, Elven Spirit. I don't think Elven Spirit's going to be doable. That is a very expensive path. But look at all the other dragons that we can get. We got 3 others this time. And then we're going to get a 4th, and then potentially a 5th if we get really lucky somehow. Probably won't happen. But I guess the other quest that we've got to do here is the Breeding Dragons quest. And normally I would do this quest either with War plus War Dragons, or I'd do it with Fire plus Sea Dragons is normally how I'd get it done, just because I've got perma time skips. So I don't mind waiting, and with 3 different breeding dens, you know, you can just breed whenever you want, really. But I also do like just getting regular breeding done every day at the same time, so, like, I want to go in particular for, let's say, some of the Ancient World breedings, because I don't always go for them enough. Like, sometimes just throwing in different dragons in here and seeing the Empower exclusives that we don't have yet is kind of interesting. Like, we've got all of these, apart from the Fuming Dragon, which I don't have yet. Only problem is the breeding times on these are quite long, but it's fine. We get one? No, we got a long one. That's okay. We've got our War Plus Steampunk breeding over here. You know, missing out 1 or 2 quests to try and go for some regular breeding, I don't mind. But, you know, that's mainly because at the start of playing this game, there's so much stuff to unlock, but then as you get into it and there's fewer and fewer new breeds to get done, it can just be a lot of rebreeding, which is why I'm very glad to have permanent skips on this account. And it's probably the reason why I'll never be any sort of paying player, because ever losing permanent speed ups would be like hell to me. I don't think I'd be able to cope, honestly. If they ever take away permanent speed ups, I would hate that. And when the heck did we breed you? My goodness, I didn't know that you were going to come out of that combination. He is one of these, right? Yeah, he is. Look at him. Look at that boy. Interesting, interesting. I think the two dragons I was going for were Fast Shoot and Headstrong. Guess we'll go for those again as well while we're here. Ah, there we go. There's a new one. I love seeing that little new symbol. Look at it. Feels too good. It may mean that I missed this one quest in Spicy Runner, but, you know, we're going to do pretty well in this event regardless. I think we should be able to get at least another egg hatched. Like, yeah, we should be at least able to get 2 more eggs hatched, and then we should be able to get those done through the breeding mountain too. So, never mind, we will get that done. It's just, you need to have fully upgraded hatchery and all of the breeding dens available, really, to get away with doing whatever breeds you want throughout the day. And you'll need perma time skips as well, obviously. You know, I would say hashtag permanent speed up happy hour to all, but I don't think Social Blade are going to do that. I really don't think they're going to do that at any point, so I do feel bad for you guys, but you know, this is one of the benefits of being free to play for now, I suppose. But anyway, I think one thing in particular that really does help with this runner event, especially on mobile, is just not jumping very often, because it might seem obvious, but the more that you're jumping when you don't need to, the less likely it is that you're going to be able to control your dragon as easily. And at the same time, just not overcomplicating things. Like, all of this gold and all of these orbs that are on the floor, sure, they might be good to get, but you don't really need them, because you'll probably end up picking up the orbs that you need for that dragon at some other point, whichever orbs you end up getting. So I just don't think that all the other things on the floor are really worth worrying about too much. I think those that try and follow these exact items end up dying quite a lot because they do get distracted. And they do just end up flopping when they try and, you know, focus on too many things at once. Basically, whenever you see purple, go and get it. Unless it seems like you're going to die while you're doing it. The only exception to that would be right at the end, when, again, you're gonna get your 118 to like 120 pinwheel in that final set of pinwheels that are available. That time you can die because, again, there's no further rewards than that. But, like, missing out on a couple of these really doesn't matter too much. Like, just make sure you know when to actually move up and down to avoid some of these rocks. Jump over the rocks that you need to, and it's really that simple on these easy patterns. Like, every single time it should be close to a full pinwheel run. But, of course, it's much easier on PC, like I said, but, you know, I have made a guide on this before, but I think some people still really struggle with this event for one reason or another. Some people say they just don't like looking at it because it hurts their eyes, which I guess I can understand. I felt like that at first as well, but you know, you definitely can get consistent runs going if you've got at least up and down arrow keys on a PC and you don't constantly, like, pause your runs, keep coming back. Because I think pausing the run, there's a few bugs with that. So if you say pause it and try and come back to a run, it usually ends up backfiring. So I don't recommend that at all. But, you know, just focus on your runs, go for those pinwheels, and don't fuss too much. Only jump when you need to, only move when you need to. You should be able to get consistent runs going eventually. Maybe not in your first couple of events, but trust me, after that it gets, you get used to it because the patterns are the same. So I do wish you the best of luck if you are going for the Spicy Boy and the XL Banquets and all of the event items. If you don't manage to get them this time, I wish you the best for the next time, but for now, we will continue with all of our gracious breedings, and I guess we will look out for the next set of event dragons, while also finishing off this event right here. All I have to say is, I don't like Cactus Spine. Blah. Absolutely blah.